Well, they get paid a lot of money for being stupid, don't they?
Yes.
Oh, they're very frightened. They're very concerned. The Supreme Court of the United States. They trash the Supreme Court. They're trashing the Constitution. They're trashing the office of the presidency. These prosecutors have cut due process corners. They're pushing to get these cases done before the election while they claim there's no election interference. And they're worried that Donald Trump might actually get his day in court. Well, let me tell you something, Brian. You know what this is? Of course you don't, but this is very, very big. You know what this is? This is the special counsel, her report, her, on Joe Biden. Exhibit after exhibit after exhibit of Joe Biden's felonies. Felonies under the Espionage Act when he was vice president, when he was a private citizen, and when he was a senator. So let me tell these knuckleheads something. If Donald Trump loses this post-presidential immunity case, you know what the next administration can do, including his? Take the cover off this report, put an indictment cover on it, and indict Joe Biden, because they're not required to adhere to what Mr. Herr or what Mr. Garland have to say. The evidence against Joe Biden in the Espionage Act, there's scores of examples of his committing felonies. And the only reason they didn't bring the case, they said, is because he's an imbecile. That was the bottom line. But there's enough probable cause in this document to bring hundreds of charges against Joe Biden, depending on the statute of limitations. So they better hope that Donald Trump wins, these knuckleheads on these other networks. Because if he doesn't, it's Joe Biden's day in court. That's number one. Number two, the Supreme Court justices ought not be pressured like this, and they need to understand something. This rogue prosecutor, Jack Smith, who's unconstitutionally appointed in violation of the Appointments Clause of the Constitution, this guy, he didn't charge Trump with insurrection. He didn't charge Trump with sedition, conspiracy, sedition, violence, none of it. He went digging, and he finds the 1871 Klan Act. He finds the Enron Act on obstruction, which was abused against many of the J6ers. He uses a federal contractor statute. Those are the statutes he uses, and he's telling the court, I should be able to indict Donald Trump for his official actions as president of the United States, not for any real crime, but I got to go back to the post-Civil War Klan Act. I've got to go to the Enron Act. I've got to go to the Federal Contractors Act, because I want to put him in prison with an Obama-appointed judge, with a jury that's going to be appointed from a population that supports Biden and hates Trump. So is the court really going to turn the power of the presidency and immunity inside out? I love these legal analysts. What do they say? This is too broad. This is a case of first impression. No president has ever been charged with a crime, let alone this Michigas after he's left office. All this talk about January 6th and overthrowing the government. Well, why don't they charge him with that? They haven't. And so the bottom line is, when you read the indictments, when you see the arguments that are being made, the court should say, no, we're not going to destroy all these years of American history in order to accommodate Joe Biden, his campaign, and his prosecutor. So Mark, that's my answer to that.
I'm pretty proud of myself.